Today, the Modern Warfare 4 beta just dropped, and I've already found one weapon that is insanely broken. I've been trying out a bunch of different weapons and messing around with different attachments, and there's one setup that has stood out way more than anything else I've used. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build what I think is the best weapon in Modern Warfare 4 right now. And trust me, once you get the right attachments on this thing, it is ridiculous. So the weapon I'm talking about is the ISO Nightshade, and honestly, the first time I used this gun, I already thought it was pretty good. But once I started messing around with the attachments and figuring out what actually worked well together, well, that's when this gun started feeling completely different. The biggest thing I wanted from this build was balance. I didn't want to make the gun that has basically no recoil but takes forever to aim. And at the same time, I didn't want to make something extremely fast that becomes impossible to control the second somebody is more than 20 feet away from me. I wanted something I could use pretty much anywhere on the map. Something that's fast enough for close range fights, really good at medium range, and still capable of killing somebody from farther away. And so far, this is the best combination of attachments I've found. The first attachment I'm using is the XRK Clutch LS Laser. The main reason I'm using this is because I want this class to stay quick. I like playing pretty aggressively, so I don't want to build a gun that forces me to sit back the entire game. If I'm sprinting around the map and somebody comes around a corner, I want to be able to get my gun ready and actually have a chance to win that fight. That's really important because some of the other attachments on this class are focused more on making this gun perform better at range. If you only focus on range and recoil when you're making a class, you can end up making the weapon way too slow, and that's not what you want. I want the gun to feel responsive while still having enough control that I can actually hit my shots. The next attachment I'm using is the ZLR Carbon 900 Long Barrel. This is probably one of the most important attachments on the entire class because I don't want this gun just to be only good at close range. There are going to be plenty of fights where someone isn't standing 5 feet in front of you. Especially depending on the map you're playing, you're going to have people sitting at the end of lanes, shooting from windows, or just catching you from farther away. I still want to be able to challenge those kind of players. That's one of the biggest reasons I'm running Long Barrel. It helps you build the ISO Nightshade into something that's more versatile instead of making it a weapon that's only really useful in one situation. And that's probably my favorite thing about this entire setup. I don't really have to change the way I'm playing just because of the class I'm using. I can still run around and play aggressively, but if I get into one of those longer range gunfights, I don't feel like I'm at a massive disadvantage, and that's exactly what I want out of a weapon just like this. The next attachment we are using is the FSS TAC 90 grip for the underbarrel, and this is where we're adding some more control and consistency to the setup. One of the worst feelings in Call of Duty is having a weapon that's really good until you actually have to keep your shots on somebody. You start shooting, the gun starts moving around, and suddenly half your bullets are going everywhere except the person you're trying to kill. And that's what I'm trying to avoid with this build. I want the gun to feel predictable. Once you've used this gun for a couple of matches and understand how it handles, you should be able to consistently keep your shots where you want them. And when you combine that with the long barrel, that's where the setup really starts becoming good at those medium range fights. That's probably where I've been most impressed with this gun, the ISO Nightshade. You can still play aggressively with it, but you don't feel like you're carrying around something that's useless the second the fight gets a little farther away. For the final attachment we are using the EXP G244 stock. And again, the goal here is keeping everything balanced. That's really the entire theme of this entire class. I'm not trying to completely max out one part of the weapon and destroy everything else. I've used classes like that before where you put every possible recoil attachment on a weapon. Then you finally get into a game and realize that, yeah, the gun barely moves, but it also feels ridiculously slow. Or you do the opposite. You put everything into speed and the gun feels amazing, until you actually have to shoot somebody at range. And I don't want either of those. I want something that I can actually use throughout an entire match without constantly wishing I had a different weapon. That's why I'm using the EXP G244 with the rest of these attachments. Everything is working together instead of focusing on one specific part of the gun. Now, one thing I am not using on this class is an optic, and there's actually a really simple reason for that. I don't think the ISO Nightshade actually needs one. The iron sights, in my opinion, are already clean enough that I don't have a problem seeing people. And if I can comfortably use those iron sights, I'd rather use that attachment slot somewhere else. An optic can definitely make a weapon easier to use, but it's not actually improving the performance of the gun itself. So if I don't need one and you don't need one, then we don't need to waste that slot on it. Now, this is definitely personal preference, so if you try the ISO Nightshade and absolutely hate the iron sights, use an optic. It's not that big of a deal. There's no point copying my class exactly if you're struggling to see people you're actually shooting at. But if you're comfortable with the iron sights, I definitely recommend going without an optic. That gives you another attachment slot to actually improve the weapon. Now, obviously, the Modern Warfare 4 beta literally just came out, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everybody has already figured out the absolute best weapon in the entire game. There are going to be new classes discovered. There are probably weapons people haven't even figured out yet. And depending on what happens during the beta, some of these weapons can get changed pretty quickly. But based on everything I've used so far, the ISO Nightshade setup has been insane. The biggest thing for me is that I feel confident taking almost any gunfight with it. Close range, I've still got enough speed to play aggressively. Medium range is where things really shine. And even when somebody is farther away, I can completely still challenge them without feeling completely outmatched. And that's where it separates a really good weapon from something that's only good in specific situations. If I'm going to call something one of the best weapons in the game, I want to be able to use it on multiple maps and in multiple situations. I don't want to have to completely change my class every time the map changes. And with this setup, I really don't feel like I have to. So if you're playing Modern Warfare 4 Beta and you're looking for a weapon to try, definitely give the ISO Nightshade a shot. Try this exact build and let me know how it works for you. And if you've already found something that you think is even better, put your weapon and attachments down in the comments, because the beta just came out and I'm definitely going to try as many different builds as I can. And if I find something that beats this ISO Nightshade setup, I'll make another video on it. But right now, this is easy one of the best setups I've found for Modern Warfare 4. Now that's going to be today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button, and peace out.